Hi guys. So, once again, I'm a little late to this video, so should have posted this sooner, but I had a lot of events to attend to today, so I'm posting it up right now. So, we're 3 days out from the release of Star Wars: The Mandalorian in theaters, bringing it back, the franchise back to cinemas. After 7 years of waiting, this coming Friday. Now, the Rotten Tomatoes score is unsurprisingly, as of right now, as I'm recording this, and it might change, it's at 61% fresh with 114 reviews, 69 fresh, 45 rotten. To be honest, I'm content with that. I mean, I was kind of hoping it would be 70% and that people would see it would be a bit fun, but I guess I still think the unfortunate overpraising of Andor, thinking all Star Wars should be like it, has kind of made critics a bit sour on this film a little bit for thinking it would be too fun. Not all critics. I know there are some who really like this movie, and I'm glad that they do, like I do. But some are a bit more biased towards Andor, and I feel like that's probably why the review was just movies just getting a barely fresh score on Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this movie does at the box office now in the wake of that. Hopefully, if it is able to open with 160 million globally in its first 4 days and beat out Solo's debut by 5 million. Hopefully it does 5 million more than that though, but we'll see. If it can do better than Solo's by 5 or 10 million, then it might have a shot of breaking even by the end of its run on its $165 million budget with 412 to 413 million worldwide. If it multiplies similarly to how Solo did, especially depending on if it gets an A or A- cinema score or not, we'll have to wait and see. Now, in the wake of that though, it's only pushing me more to put out this video as I'm going to continue to call on the leaders of the Walt Disney Company, CEO Josh D'Amaro and CCO Dana Walden, along with Lucasfilm leaders Dave Filoni and Lin Brennan, to be aware of this issue going into the movie that I'm looking forward to the most, the Star Wars movie that I'm looking forward to the most in the coming years, that I hope still gets made regardless of how this movie does. And that's the movie, Star Wars movie Dave Filoni is writing currently, as he's finished the first act last I recall and checked, and directing also the Star Wars movie that will conclude this whole storyline setup that began in 2019 in The Mandalorian, which may or may not be called, and I think it should be called now, Star Wars Heir to the Empire. For many, many reasons. But I'll get to that soon. Now, I still think this should be an epic crossover event finale film that's going to have all those characters from the TV series, but should also have characters from the movies as well to really get a bit of kind of broadish appeal while also having appeal to fans as well in this film. And I think, depending on how Mando Grogu does, I think it's best for Heir to the Empire to be led by Star Wars movie characters rather than Star Wars TV characters, more than Star Wars TV characters, for the most part. I still think the TV characters should be involved in like important roles, maybe close to major roles, if in the case of Ahsoka right here, and other characters like Zeb and maybe Grogu as well, along with the villain of this film, Grand Admiral Thrawn. But depending on how Mando and Grogu does, which I hope it can at least break even, depending on how it does, I think it's probably for the best that this movie, Dave Filoni Star Wars film, bring back the original trilogy leads, Han Solo, Princess Leia Organa, Luke Skywalker, and Lando Calrissian, but with younger actors, and even some of the returning actors from previous films like Solo playing them. Now, I think Alden Ehrenreich and Donald Glover, you definitely, Dave, have to bring those characters back to play Han and Lando, especially since they, I think Solo has kind of aged well over time a bit, and I also think now in the wake of the controversies regarding AI, especially as it's a hot button topic in this world right now, especially with the deepfake CGI de-aging of Luke Skywalker in the season 2 finale of Mandalorian, the penultimate episode of the Book of Boba and the penultimate episode of the Book of Boba Fett, along with Princess Leia in the Rise of Skywalker, and also de-aging Harrison Ford a little bit in Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny, being a bit creepy. I think it's time that you get new actors to play those two characters, Luke and Leia. And I think the best choices would be to have Daisy Edgar Jones from Where the Crawdads Sing and Twisters play Leia, and for Luke Skywalker to have Penn Badgley from Easy A play that character. I would have said Sebastian Stan Still, but considering that he's a bit too old to play a young Luke now, and Penn Badgley is kind of in that same age range of like the 30s to 40s for Luke Skywalker in this era to be played by an actor like that, I think it would be in the best interest of you to get Penn Badgley to play that character. And people will say, well, Penn's 39 and Luke's supposed to be like 30, 31, 32. How is that possible? And to them I say, well, look at how Orlando Bloom was older, and yet he still played a younger Legolas in the Hobbit trilogy compared to when he should be older in the Lord of the Rings, yet when Orlando Bloom played him in those movies, he was relatively still younger. So that's my rationale for Penn Badgley as Luke Skywalker. So think on that, people. And I really hope, Dave, that you go forward with this, because I really feel like it's for the best that you have Heir to the Empire led by the return of the original trilogy leads, as much as you should involve characters from the Clone Wars, the prequels, the Bad Batch, Rebels, Skeleton Crew, maybe one character from the Force sequel trilogy, specifically Lor San Tekka from The Force Awakens, who could use more utilization, especially if he's played by a younger actor, like, say, maybe Tom Hiddleston. And also the live-action series you've introduced characters in, like the kids of Skeleton Crew, and much more into this film. But I think it's best if you have the original trilogy 4 leads back in this film, played by young actors and new actors as well, because the CGI de-aging / deepfake AI thing is not going to work. And depending on how people react to the recasting of Baylan Skoll in the wake of Ray Stevenson's passing, with Rory McCann taking over for that character in season 2 of Ahsoka, when that season hits Disney Plus early next year, I feel like that will be a good idea of maybe considering that it's probably for the best that you recast those characters with those actors. Penn Badgley for Luke, Daisy Edgar Jones for Leia, bringing back Alden Ehrenreich for Han Solo, and bringing back Don Glover for Lando. And I really hope, speaking of Ahsoka Season 2, I really hope at D23 this coming August, you not only release the trailer for Ahsoka Season 2 publicly to everyone going there and also online as well, but I really hope you can do this, Dave. You've got to say that Ahsoka Season 2 excuse me, is going to be the final season of Ahsoka, as rumored for 3 years now, because it could be the best way for you to tell everyone Ahsoka Season 2 is the final season, because it's the last story that's going to lead into my Star Wars movie that will conclude this whole storyline. And I'm hoping that you can talk to Disney and Lucasfilm about having it be released in Christmas 2029 to kind of like give it legs at the box office and give it more post-production time when you finish the script and start shooting, probably early, mid next year. And if James Cameron feels a little unconvinced by that, if he still wants Avatar 4 there, just talk Disney and have them say, look, James, we'll still let you make your film, but after Avatar Fire and Ash had diminishing returns and a Last Jedi level drop, even if the film was much better than that film, it was well received, we think it's best if you would have your Avatar 4 come out in 2030 while still keeping Avatar 5 in 2031, so those two films can sort of be like a 2-part finale that can come out a year apart from each other, similar to how Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame concluded the Infinity Saga, and how Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars are going to conclude the multiverse saga of the MCU. That's my rationale on it. So really hope Josh, Dana, Dave, and Linwin, you can sit on this and make sure you get this done, because the last thing I want to see is Dave's movie to get canceled and take away from Disney, like how George Lucas lost his first 2 films to Warner Brothers and Universal, editing them until the success of A New Hope in 1977 gave him the power to do that. All that. Thank you.